Are you in your 60s and suddenly thrown into the workforce where you have to find another job? Well, let me tell you my story. First, when I was 16 years old, I started working at Burger King, Kmart. I also worked at the hospital in the admitting department, radiology, and then I found a job working as a health assistant in the Head Start program. From there, I was working in Head Start for like over 20 something years. From there, I went as a health assistant to a family service worker. Then from there, I went to monitoring education. And then I switched over to monitoring family and community partnerships. Basically, what that is you go to Head Start and daycare centers and basically observe and look through their information just to make sure they're following federal guidelines and they stay, in compliance. Basically, that's what that job was. And I loved it. But my son, I had a son, and his father was a deadbeat dad, so they had an opening in Jersey paying more money with what I was already doing. So I decided to move to New Jersey and worked from there. Well, everything was going great, and then I ended up being their program governance specialist, which is basically dealing with their board of directors and their policy council. And everything was fine. But then next thing you know, the CEO of the Head Start program decided he wanted to steal some money. So he stole some money and he ended up in jail. Well, the agency ended up closing. So what I did was I moved to Oklahoma with my son to live with my brother and his wife. We stayed there a few months until I found a job. Well, I found a job working for the CEO of Hillcrest Claremore Hospital. And I was there for 11 years. I moved from that position to being their patient experience coordinator, which I loved. I loved dealing with the patients and the staff and, working together to meet all the patients' needs. And it was wonderful. I was planning to retire from there. At 63, you're like, this is like at the end stretch of your work journey. That's the way it was in my head, So I'm thinking, this is going to be it. I've been receiving cards, I've received awards, I've received kudos, lots of pats on the back on how wonderful of a job I've been doing. Not wonderful, great, fantastic. That's what I was doing. I did an amazing job. I was like the best patient experience coordinator they ever had. And I love doing it. I'm not going to say that I wasn't good because I was great. I'm patting myself on the back. Well, anyhow, one day I walked into work on a Monday morning. My supervisors told me that my job had been terminated and that day would be my last day. So of course, I was in shock, So I went and I packed my stuff and I left. And I was driving home. I don't know how I got home. I was just in shock. So when I came home, I made the decision I just had to get out of there, not just out of Oklahoma, but out of the US. So I ended up going to Spain for a few months. I took some money out of my 401k and I went to Spain for a few months. I loved it. That was the best thing I could have done at that time. I've been back it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, I think. But I'll never forget it. I had a wonderful time there, and I learned a lot. It taught me a lot. So I returned, and then now at 63, trying to find employment. There are many challenges looking for employment at our age, whoever's older and is listening to me. A lot of the jobs, they don't have salaries posted, and they want you to go through the interview process and all that, and then come to find out when salary is discussed, it's minimum wage or, something you can't live on, and it's like wasting my time, It's not a waste of theirs, but it's wasting my time, It's like, just post the salaries, let people know, so they're not wasting their time. So some are posted though, but it's like, it seems like everybody seems to want somebody younger, young, and they don't think about the older ones. We have a lot to offer. We have so much experience, in our areas and everything, but it's like they just look at the ageism, They just look at the age and say, no. And then they want to go with somebody younger. The problem that they're having with some of those ones that are going younger is the younger ones don't appear to want to work either. You know, they'll lay in bed when their alarm gets up, goes off in the morning. It's like, nah, I don't feel like going to work. And they just roll over, not going in. It's like there's no work ethic, And I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying some of them are like this. And I know the young ones that's listening to me now know I'm telling the truth. It's not all of you guys, but it's some of you guys. And it's like the employers, that's what they look for, the younger ones. Sometimes they just take them as they are. If they don't want to come to work, well, we're trying to find somebody to cover while they're rolling around in their bed, And while us older ones are sitting here, dedicated to the job, would put in full, 110%, all our time, we're here, we're ready to work, but we're not giving a chance. We're not getting a chance, But I'm not afraid. I'm definitely not afraid because I know God has something out there for me and I'll get a job. I know that. So I'm not, like concerned. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to be thrown out in the street. Or I'm not at all, because like I said, I know God's got my back and he has yours too. So, keep your head up. Just keep grinding, trying to find something the best that you can, It's out there. It's going to, trust me, God's going to put it in your path like he's going to put it in mine. So although we're older, we've got a lot of experience. Don't give up. Do not give up. Sometimes I feel like that's what they want us to do. Don't give up. Don't do it. This is Madi from Madi's Travel. Until the next video, peace.